Meanwhile, GOP Senator Marco Rubio sits on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, knows also this industry way too well. Senator, great to see you.
Thank you.
Your thoughts that 4 of them are Tajiks, and you just pointed out to me that they said they're attacking Christians, not Russians.
Yeah, that was the statement. When ISIS puts out a statement, they said that we killed Christians. They didn't say, you know, and to them, that's to the West. They've always hated Russia. They hate Iran, too. And but I think what's important for us, beyond this horrible tragedy, which is what it is the fact that it took 4 people for this carnage. We've had 9 million people come across our border. 9 million have come across our border illegally, and it only took 4. And no one can tell me that of the 9 million people that have entered this country illegally, there isn't a really high probability that at least 4 are members of an organization like this, especially when the FBI director himself confirmed to me in an open hearing of the Intelligence Committee that they are very concerned about a trafficking network that is linked to terrorists like ISIS, who basically traffic in people for money. It's a business for them. But you're telling me if you own a trafficking business, you're not going to use it to try to get terrorists in the United States? ISIS would love to do what they did in Moscow here in the United States, in multiple places if they could. And the sad part about it is ISIS was wiped out. At the end of the Trump presidency, ISIS basically was not a functional entity, a handful of guys in caves, you know, trying to figure out who was going to get the camel for the day, you know. And now these guys are basically back and operating inside of Russia, inside of Iran.
We gave a heads up to Iran that still blew up, gave a heads up March 7th about a concert hall and everything. It still blew up. You wonder if we have a heads up here, and if that's what we're hearing when you have all these officials say, I'm really concerned, it keeps me up at night, including the head of the Border Patrol, Jason Owens. Watch this.
We're at, closing in on 1 million entries this fiscal year alone. That number is a large number, but what's keeping me up at night is the 140,000 known gotaways.
That is not part of that tally.
That is not part of that tally. If we don't know who is coming into our country and we don't know what their intent is, that is a threat, and they're exploiting a vulnerability that's on our border right now.
So he may be appointed by the Biden administration, but he's speaking, look out, he's giving a warning to the administration.
Yeah, ultimately, look, think about it this way. If you're ISIS, you want to attack the United States, you say, hey, we got to get 10 people in there to do an attack. Well, it's easy. Let's just send them across the southern border. We already traffic people for money. Let's just stick 10 of them in there with fake passports. These guys you can buy passports. There's like dozens of countries that you can buy a document that says you're so-and-so, and it's an official government document you bribe somebody for. Now you're inside of America. And it only took 4 people to do what they did in Moscow. We've had 9 million something people that have entered this country unlawfully and illegally. It only takes 4 to do this kind of carnage.
But, Senator, they keep saying, well, it's your fault for not passing and putting up to a vote Senator Langford and Senator Murphy's bipartisan bill.
That bill wouldn't have done anything to stop something like that. That bill would have allowed border agents, they were going to hire a bunch more of these asylum officers who would now have the power to give people asylum at the border without even a review from a judge immediately. And they would have also qualified to get a work permit immediately. That would have been a magnet that actually would have brought more people here. Now at least they have to wait 6 months for a work permit. They'd get one right away at the border, and some of them would get asylum immediately, which would put them on the pathway to citizenship, by the way.